Welcome back, everyone, for this week's episode of our Smoky Mountain Wrestling Podcast. This is Smoky Mountain Wrestling, episode number 46 from December the 12th of 1992. We are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas time in the Smoky Mountains, our first Christmas in the Smoky Mountains since we started this venture. We're creeping towards the end of the year, and it's probably a little chilly in the Smoky Mountains during this time. But we do come to you from a new venue, which is Clairfield School in Clairfield, Tennessee. And I'm going to get to Doc in a second with the demographic information since it is a new location. Today, it's Doc and myself. We think Hardbody Harper got hammered last night, and he forgot that we were recording this morning. So Harper's not here to start the show. Maybe he'll text me during it and join us, but we shall see. That said, Doc, how you doing, man?
We can't worry about who's not here. We can only worry about who is here. I just hope that he doesn't about to wake up and roll over and look at something that he's going to instantly regret.
Okay.
Well,
Harper said he's been known to do that from time to time. He rolls over and finds something he really didn't want to do. So I hear you there. Go ahead.
It's Christmas in the Smoky Mountains, so maybe we should get each other new tinfoil from which to smoke our methamphetamine from.
That's real nice of you. Well, Doc, we are in Clairfield School in Clairfield, Tennessee. I had never heard of this place until, I queued up episode number 46 to watch Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on what the hell. I mean, this demographic and where we're at, because I have no clue where this is other than the name of it.
Well, you came to the right place.
Okay.
We are in northern Tennessee.
When you say northern, are we like on the border?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is an unincorporated town, so I guess it's to avoid the whole town just wants to stay off the radar. We have a population of 1,002.
Woo!
So we're pretty small here.
It's a little bitty place. I mean, it might be 1,000 people just within a 5-block radius of me where I live. Wow, that's a small area.
Well, and I don't know how at home you would feel here because we are talking about a population that is 98.8% white.
Woo! All right, do the math, Doc. Do the math.
Well,
we got 1,002 people.
Well, yeah, this is real easy. This means that there's about 14 people in town that aren't, I think, or 140 maybe. No, 14 that aren't white.
We had a listener on our Facebook page.
Oh, I saw that. It was like the brother who said that why are the black people indentured servants or something? And I was like, dude, there's a better than zero chance that the word of the Emancipation Proclamation has not made it to some of these towns.
Oh, I wish Harper was here to hear that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. When you look at that, because you and I grew up in such diverse environments that it's not a joke. We have trouble wrapping our heads around that type of that type of lack of
ethnic diversity.
Yes, there you go, ethnic diversity. So, holy shit.
Here's some more. Well, let's keep piling on these poor fuckers.
I'm not piling on them. I just think it's fascinating.
The median income is $16,477 a year.
Right now?
Yes.
In 2017?
Yes.
Jesus.
And I find this one hard to believe, so I'm going to go
Everybody's got to be on food stamps and government assistance then.
Well, it's all black and brown people that are the takers in this world. But
well, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, dude, you can't. How do you live off of that?
Well, here's the other thing. And this is Wikipedia, so obviously I'm not going to get into government records for the beginning of this podcast. But on Wikipedia for this town, it says that the median home price is $23,400.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. We got to get started.
No. Hold on.
My brain can't process this, Doc.
Right. These are like 1970s prices in a big city.
God damn.
So, there's always the myth out there. We try to educate these honkies in our crowd that, it's always...
there you go, insulting people. He's playing heel, everybody. He's playing heel.
it's always, we got a lot of white is right listeners. We got a lot of the brown and blacks are the problems, build the wall kind of folks. Well, here, let me ask you this.
You're leaning into it.
If there's 98.8% white folks, yet 39.7% are below the poverty line, and the median income is 16,477, where are they making their money? So here's the thing. They're either on some sort of assistance, because you can't live on that, or they're selling drugs.
Okay. All right.
No, seriously, there's a lot of like pot fields. You will get some confirmation from some of our listeners that there's pot fields in the forests of Tennessee.
Okay. We're gonna get started.
They're under the cover. They're under the cover. You can't see them from the air, so it's a good way to do that. Yeah, but
Okay,
but
Doc.
I gotta tell you, and I'm gonna transition us into the episode here. But not only is this town beaten down beyond belief, this gym we're in is maybe the most depressing looking place on earth. You remember back in like episode 3 when we were in that special room at the Knoxville Civic Center? Was that weird?
Yeah.
This place
is
is worse than that.
Yeah. The Knoxville Civic Coliseum, actually, if you watch like a lot of USA wrestling from Fuller, it doesn't look as bad as when we first kicked off and we were in there for a couple of episodes because of I think they just had the lighting different. And so, but this gym, it's really dungeony looking. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of dark. It's very hard to explain. So I'm glad you said that.
Aren't the walls like dark red?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's like they painted it with the blood of the slaves or something.
Oh, come on. It says it's Clairfield School. I assume Clairfield Elementary. I mean, I didn't really look, but it is definitely a little gym for the ring.
I gotta think that all they have is an elementary, and once you graduate elementary school, you go work in selling meth or something.
Okay, that's real nice of you and classy of you to say. Come on, can you stop, please?
Hey, here's the thing: if the median income is 16,000, there's nobody there that can afford to listen to podcasts, so we're okay.
That's not true. That's not true. There's plenty of people on government assistance that have iPhones. I've seen it personally. All right, there we go.
We should drug test them.
There we go. Here we go. We Dutch and Bob Cottle kicked things off after Doc just wasted 7 to 8 minutes of our time on bullshit. And Dutch breaks everyone's heart with a sign announcement that Elvis is dead and poor old Dutch isn't feeling too well himself. Bob Cottle does announce the main event is Tim Horner versus the Dirty White Boy for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling heavyweight title. That's our opening. Doc, you got anything from the opening before I jump into the first match?
Well, he says that we've got new champs with the Rock and Roll Express, and I thought we had already known that piece of information. Did I get that wrong?
No, that's correct. I just think that sometimes the way the TV rolled out, maybe he thought that this was going to air before. I don't know.
Right.
It's that's one of those things where we're in a different day and a different time, so who knows? But because I was having this discussion with someone online about Mid-South Wrestling from years ago and how the week that I would see may not play for a couple of weeks in like Arkansas. So like they were a couple of weeks behind as the TV went around, or even Houston got it a week or two after me, and Shreveport got it a week or two before me. It's very strange the way it. So I mean, it's territory wrestling, so there's an explanation for it.
Arkansas is still years behind the rest of the world, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice. You just pissed off the Arkansas faithful to the show. We go to the first match. It is the Dark Secret versus Dixie Dynamite. As the match starts, Bob Cottle lets us know that Kevin Sullivan has been reinstated as a wrestler in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And Doc, I'm sure you know this, but do you know who the Dark Secret is?
I do, and I'm going to tell you in a minute. But let's go back to Sullivan being reinstated. Can you recreate the sound of what Kevin Sullivan says in the ring while he's spiking people?
Yep! Yep! Yep!
I love that.
Yep! Jesus Christ!
I love that. Okay, so
eardrums out.
Back to the Dark Secret. The Dark Secret is the Road Dogg, Jesse James, an Armstrong too. So we have brother on brother violence here.
There you go. And Road if you watch the way he moves in a ring, you can tell.
Exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
thought too. And so Road Dogg had debuted back in the 80s, but then he had to go have a stint in the military, probably to learn some discipline, because, that's where you learn that kind of thing. Um, but I just got distracted during the first match. My note here is this gym is depressing the hell out of me.
It's There's not a lot of people there either. It's pretty damn empty. Uh, One of the emptier arenas we've seen in a while, or buildings we've seen in a while. But it is what it is. It's Smoky Mountain. We do have to remember that we are still. I mean, we're still in the first year. So although the angles have heated up and whatnot, we're not quite. We're not fully established yet. I think we get fully established when we get to past episode 52 or so.
Well, and I was listening to another podcast not too long ago, and I'm not going to mention them because they don't deserve it. Only we deserve it.
Oh, okay.
But they were talking about Smoky Mountain, and their assessment was, and I don't know that I disagree with this, is that 1993 is the best year of Smoky Mountain. I kind of like 94 as well, pretty strongly, but there is a good case to be made that 93 was the best year. And so we've had a lot of fun, and we're not there yet. So again, you're right about that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. I'm not gonna disagree or agree with that at this point because I've only watched bits and pieces of '94, but '93 is on fire. So we go from that match after Dixie Dynamite gets the win, and we're gonna hear now from the Rock and Roll Express. So here it is. They cut a promo after it.
Mountain Wrestling, the 3 count. And let's go to Bob right now, standing by with the Rock and Roll Express.
All right, Dutch, and right you are. And I tell you, fans, I'm extremely happy to be here with these two. I've watched them in action in the ring many, many times. They're great competitors, and now are the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions, Rock and Roll Express.
That's right, Bob. A big night of ours to win this World Tag Team titles. Let me tell you something, Jimmy Cornette, they say we got a handicap match. Boys, it's not a handicap match because Jimmy Cornette, we're going to keep a good eye on you, boy. Right there, brother.
That's right. Christmas chaos, Bob. That's what it's all about. Now, you see, Jimmy Cornette, the reason we asked for this match with Jimmy Cornette on the Heavenly Body side for the Smoky Mountain Tag Team titles is because, number one, Bob, Jimmy Cornette's always out there with that tennis racket. He's always out there interfering in the matches. Well, this time right here, we can keep an eye on you, Jimmy Cornette, in the ring. And another thing we can do is to hit you and not get disqualified. So I'm telling you right now, Jimmy Cornette, at Christmas chaos, that's what it's going to be, is chaos. Because when the Rock and Roll Express get our hands on you, baby, it's all going to be over with but the crowd. Because Rock and Roll's here to stay. We're not here to play. The new Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions. And we'd like to thank all the fans, and we love you, baby.
All right, fans, there they are, the new Tag Team Champions of Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Doc, did you lose it when Gibson said, we're going to keep a good eye on you?
I sure did.
Because I sure did.
Yeah, I did. That was
Robert Gibson, if you're listening, we love you. That was a great line. I don't know if there was pun intended to that, but it was great. We're going to keep a good eye on you. Honestly, that was the only note I had from it because it was a good one, and that was the note I had. Go ahead, Doc.
Well, the people, there's not many of them, but they were pretty loud there. They like their Rock and Roll Express, which everybody in that part of the world does, and there's nothing wrong with that. The other thing is, what the hell was Morton wearing?
I don't know.
It was like some kind of bib, cowboy, frilly, weird shirt, jacket nonsense.
I mean, neither one of them wore like I don't know how I want to say it, like great gear. It was just always kind of flashy and weird looking, but
but there's a difference between 80s glam metal rock and whatever Morton was throwing down right there. That was pretty ridiculous.
You got me, dude. You got me on that one. All right. Well, anything else from it?
No.
Well, we go from that to then a promo. It is going to be Tracy Smothers followed by Bullet Bob, and then it also bleeds into Primetime Brian Lee. So I'm going to pause it here at one point. I'm going to get through Smothers and Bullet Bob's first part first, and we'll see what they got to say related to what's been going on in the Smoky Mountains. So here we go.
Oh, you talk about taking someone to your heart, boy. The Smoky Mountain Wrestling fans all around the area have really done that to this outstanding athlete right here, the wild-eyed Southern boy, Tracy Smothers. Tracy, glad to have you here with us.
Thanks, Bob. You know what? You know what I love? I love being in the South, and I love being home, and I love being in the good old volunteer state of Tennessee. Isn't that great to be alive, to be in the state of Tennessee? You know what? Of all the things that I love about being home, Mr. Cottle, of all the things that I really love, you know, the hills, the countryside and everything, what I really love the most is if I want to let out a good old rebel yell and go, yeah, then it's okay. It don't really matter. I can do whatever I wish because I'm in the South, I'm at home. I'm climbing that great Smoky Mountain and I'm going up that ladder and I want a shot at that Smoky Mountain heavyweight title. So Stud Stable, Heavenly Bodies, Dirty White Boy, whoever you may be, get off your buttocks and take a gander in this monitor because, gentlemen, there's a new sheriff in town, and his name's Tracy Smothers, the wild-eyed Southern boy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tracy, the wild-eyed Southern boy. And fans, he is not taking any prisoners. Stepping in with us right now is Smoky Mountain Commissioner Bob Armstrong. Commissioner, as I say, we had some, I think, shocking news, and that's the fact that Kevin Sullivan has been reinstated.
That's right. Despite all my objection, Kevin Sullivan will be allowed to wrestle on TV. And rather than bore everybody with legal mumbo-jumbo with this 15-page letter I've got back on my desk at my office, let me just read one page of this letter from a team of lawyers from Mr. Evil Kevin Sullivan. We feel our client, Mr. Sullivan, is being wrongly denied his rightful and lawful chance to further his career through television exposure. If this ban is due to disciplinary action for improper conduct or rules violations, please forward to this office for review the following documents: names of all wrestlers fined and suspended in the past year, detailed descriptions of reasons for doing so, written rules barring these types of infractions, depositions, memos, minutes of meetings or other correspondence relating to such activity. And if Mr. Sullivan was barred from TV due to rule infractions, please show that all others who broke the rules were barred also. We'll consider failure to do so a discrimination and seek recourse in federal court. Now, if Mr. Sullivan was barred due to the psychiatric counseling he has undergone, we will consider this a violation of his civil rights, and they will seek in federal court because of equal opportunity employment violation, and because of Mr. Sullivan's slight infraction of the rules, we're sure that he'll be continued to be a model employee. Now, if what he did was slight to primetime Brian Lee, I'd like to see what his team of lawyers call a whole bunch. Now, I'll tell you, this is an abuse. Yeah. We got murderers walking the street right now because they abuse our legal system. This is the lowest form of abuse. But I'll tell you a man that likes abuse, and that's the Mongolian Stomper. And another man, primetime Brian Lee, he's ready to abuse Kevin Sullivan for what he did to him. Let's just take a look at what these two men are going through right now.
All right, and then we'll hear from primetime Brian Lee.
Okay, I paused it, Doc. We got a couple of things to address there. One is Tracy Smothers and his all shucks thing. I thought that was great. I love the line when he said, "Get off your buttocks and take a gander into this monitor." Jesus Lord, did you want to say anything about Tracy's part before you address Bullet Bob's?
Well, I was like, man, you could yeehaw anywhere, Tracy. It's all right. And it might be great to be in the volunteer state, but I can almost personally guarantee, going back to the top of the show, that it's not really great to be in Clairfield.
Stop. Come on, man.
This place should just give up. They should just quit.
Stop.
Just disband.
Stop. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So then, Armstrong. Man, Kevin Sullivan's lawyered up. Man, those guys know what they're doing.
He said a violation of his civil rights.
Man, if you want to talk about a heel term, bring up civil rights in that part of the world. They probably hate that shit. And then, Jesus. He says his lawyer said it's slight. A slight infraction. I was like, well, it's slight compared to what he's going to do in a few weeks to somebody.
Oh, boy. It's a couple of months away, actually. So, okay. Yeah, kind of true.
And then he calls it the lowest form of abuse. I think there's some abused children that might take exception with that.
I'd say so.
And then I just wish I could turn on, C-SPAN one day or some the Supreme Court hearing and see Bob Armstrong and Kevin Sullivan in federal court arguing this case and just what would ensue. I thought that was an interesting visual there.
Yeah. Oh boy, I enjoy. I thought it was funny. Like I said, when he reads that letter and then talks about his civil rights being violated, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. It's so hokey and absurd that it's entertaining.
It's awesome.
Well, we go from that to they show the clip of the Mongolian Mall Stomper backstage and the chaos that ensued a few weeks back, and then they that was at Thanksgiving Thunder. They then play a primetime Brian Lee promo, which is then followed by an announcement from Bob Armstrong. So here is that related to what's going on with this feud. So here you go. Primetime Brian Lee first, and then Bullet Bob is next.
I received a phone call today from Bob Armstrong. He asked me, Brian, how you doing? Told him, well, I'm out getting a walk, trying to make these ribs heal a little quicker. Then he asked me when I was going to be able to wrestle again. Well, the doctor's going to release me in 6 weeks. Then he told me about Christmas chaos. He told me that Kevin Sullivan was going to be there. So I told him, Kevin Sullivan's going to be there, primetime Brian Lee's going to be there. And I'll tell you what, the Stomper's going to take care of that stalker, and Brian Lee's going to take care of Kevin Sullivan. And when I get my hands on you, you better try to do a lot better job than you did last time, because I'm going to rip your head right off your body.
Well, everybody knows that primetime Brian Lee was hurt really bad. He's not ready to come back, and his doctors have said he's not ready to come back, but primetime Lee has got a heart as big as All Outdoors, and everybody's talking about this match right here. The Mongolian Stomper teams up with Brian Lee to wrestle against Mr. Evil, Kevin Sullivan, and the Night Stalker. Now, the board of directors are on my case. This match will be non-sanctioned. Let the chips fall where they may. That match will take place, but it will be non-sanctioned. And, brother, you guess as good as mine what'll happen there.
All right, fans, that's the story right out of the mouth of Commissioner Bob Armstrong. Now, we'll be back. We'll have more action when we reach.
Okay, Doc, go ahead. What do you have from that one?
Red Zubaz.
Yeah, he's got he's got the 1990s Nike Air T-shirts that were popular. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Those shirts, they were pretty popular during that time, which I thought was funny. And then he's got the Zubaz on. It's 1990s, man. It's early 90s, dude. I mean, that's what it was, and it was as absurd then as it is now. This is the best way I can put it, to be honest with you. So it is what it is. But anything else you got from it?
Well, he's walking in a field, and he's kind of out of breath a little bit. I don't know if he's got Horner affliction.
His ribs are wrapped up. It's kind of hard to breathe when your stomach and ribs are completely wrapped the way they were.
Well, but he looks less pilled up than last week, so that's good.
Yeah, I would say so. I agree there.
And then I didn't have much with BA. I mean, he's just setting up the next match, and I bet it's going to be wild-assed.
Yeah, I agree. Non-sanctioned is the key there, where since Brian Lee and the Stomper versus Sullivan and Night Stalker, so non-sanctioned is the key there. We go from that. It's a promo. It's a local promo. Tracy Smothers and Tim Horner. I'll play it at the end of the show. I mean, it's nothing there that's pertinent to the actual episode we're covering. And then we get to what I've been wanting to talk about.
Yeah, I've been waiting. Let me just set this up for you. I've been waiting on this because we had a brief conversation about this next segment earlier this week, and we didn't talk too much about it because you got some hot opinions on it, and I wanted to save it for the air because you like to blow your wad, bothering me with talking about wrestling instead of saving it for when the light goes on. So again, let me set it up. We've got Jeff Daniels, who we've seen in the last couple of weeks, versus the devil himself, Kevin Sullivan. And there you go. Hit it.
Well, first off, I'm the one who always has to tell you to chill out and wait till the red light comes on. So let's get that straight right now. Yes, we have Jeff Daniels versus Kevin Sullivan. Jeff Daniels doesn't stand a chance here. Sullivan beats this poor bastard's ass, and this isn't even the worst we will see from Sullivan, which is crazy. Sullivan hits him with a tripod, and then the moment I came unglued is when he takes that wooden chair and smashes him in the back of the head. Before I even knew that the guy was busted open, my exact reaction was, that shit was reckless. You just don't hit someone in the back of the head with a chair. It doesn't, and I know people are going to go, well, do you hit them in the front? Yeah, back then you would hit people in the crown of the head. I mean, it was what it was. Now you don't. Back then you did. He fucking cracks him in the back of the head with this chair. The match continues for a while longer. Sullivan is DQ'd. This poor bastard got his ass handed to him. They're ringing the bell in this gym. It's the buzzer from the goddamn gymnasium. It's not even a bell that's ringing. I don't know if you caught that one. But this shit was reckless. I love Kevin Sullivan. I think he's got a great mind. I listen to his show. But this shit was reckless. And, Doc, I'll let you chime in from here because that's my point. It was reckless.
Okay, so at what point do you think it's possible that Sullivan just got carried away and would say in the back, I went too far, but it is what it is?
I have no clue. I mean, I don't know the man personally.
The reason I say that is this. A long, long time ago, we had a conversation, and I said, if you were on top of the Hell in the Cell cage, would you have thrown Foley off? And you're like, yep. And I go, if he wants to do it, you're going to do it. Yep. And I'm like, you don't stop and think I'm about to kill this guy. And you're like, nope, because once you get started, the blood gets flowing, the juices are going, you just go with it. And so my thought is that Sullivan, in a moment of just sitting there watching it, if you showed him today, he'd go, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. But in the moment, he was just being Kevin Sullivan, and that's some of the shit that might happen.
Nah, that shit just don't happen. That's not equivalent to Mick Foley and Undertaker being on top of the cage and Taker saying, come on, just throw me off. And because you got to realize you're not really throwing him off as much as he's jumping off too. And it's a controlled landing, as crazy as that sounds, because I know he could have died if he didn't hit that table the way he does. My point is, that's a little different than, hey, I'm going to go pick up a chair and look, that guy's head's back. The back of his head is to me and I'm going to crack him upside the head with this wooden chair. That shit was reckless, man.
Okay. So, first of all,
his back is available to you to hit. Just hit him on the back. Don't crack the man in the back of the skull.
Okay.
But hey.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Sure.
Menace.
Sure.
If you're Jeff Daniels and you just got your wig split open, what are you doing when you hit the locker room?
I don't know how long that guy had been in the business at that point, and Kevin Sullivan was a pretty established person in the business.
Right.
So I'd probably walk up to him and, hey, man, what's the deal? Just to try to see what he says. Especially if I'm like a rookie or something, first year in and
did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong?
Well, yeah. I want to know, like, what the hell, and kind of see what his reaction is. And if he's just a dick about it, then that's an issue.
Okay,
that's when you have an issue.
Do you think Corny took care of the guy with a little bit of extra money there?
I have no clue, but I would think that, Jim seems like a nice guy. He's not going to, I'm sure. I'd want to ask him about that. Write that down. Hey, man, you remember when Jeff Daniels got his wig split by Kevin Sullivan and started, like, bleeding like he was on his cycle from his freaking back of his head?
Hey.
You remember that episode? You remember when that happened? Did you tell Kevin Sullivan something, and did you take care of the stitches that he had to pay for to get put in his head? That shit was reckless, dude. Like, that's what the point I'm trying to make is, before I saw the gash in his head and realized he was bleeding from it profusely, like he needed a tampon on his attached to his head. Before I even saw that part of it, when I saw Sullivan swing and hit him in the back of the head, I was like, that's fucking wrong. That was my initial reaction before I ever even saw the blood. Because that's just, you just don't hit somebody in the back. God. It makes my stomach queasy just thinking about it. Because those chair shots, dude, chair shots to the head are rough. Obviously. I'm not... Even when you get hit in the crown, like you would see, what's his name? ECW, that used to take him in the front of the head. When it was, what's his name? The Japanese guy.
Oh, Masato Tanaka.
Right. When him and what's his name would be working those matches,
Mike Awesome.
And Awesome would just blast him in the crown of the head. I mean, that's rough enough. But for some reason, the crown of your head can take the flat of that chair. No, you took a wood, and bro, you know that wooden chair must have been some solid oak too. So we ain't talking just some bullshit balsa wood. He took that shit and cracked him. I was like, oh, that sucks. That's just wrong.
My note was the same people who didn't tell Menace to get his hands up didn't tell Daniels to get his hands up either.
That guy wasn't expecting that. But anyway, I don't know. I think we beat that horse to death.
Well,
anything else?
I got some other notes. It's wild ass the way Sullivan hits the ring. He hits the ring hard. He's hard charging. He's going forward. I'm making an example out of everybody. So I had this note. I would love to see this version of Kevin Sullivan in 1985-86 Ron Garvin get it on.
They kill each other.
Right.
It'd be like Tully and Magnum.
That was my note here, is that it was just like, man, that would be a shoot. My note before the chair was, this is an assault. There are 6 things in the first 2 minutes that should have been a DQ that didn't get one. And of all the assault that happened, it took Night Stalker getting in the ring to generate the DQ. So just a little bit more about the match. But I mean, Sullivan is out there to promote. I mean, I know where he's going with this. It's from the school of the Sheik. It's just wild. It's unpredictable. It's that Abdullah the Butcher. It's that original Sheik. It's that I'm out here to cause mayhem and chaos. Wins and losses don't matter. I'm crazy. Anything could happen. Don't get in my way if you're a fan. You could get some too. Just really old school, wild ass wrestling.
That shit was reckless, bro.
All right. We have to take your word for it, because you actually were a wrestler. I wish Harper was here, but he's probably just now waking up to realize the wildebeest that's inhabiting his bed with him. But we'll have to.
Harper had to be out last night banging some broad, because he never knows shows like this without at least a message. So I'm sure he was out having fun, and that's that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can we move on now to Sullivan's promo?
Yeah, this is good too.
Yeah. Okay. So now we just talked for damn near 10 minutes about a match that he just killed some guy and slammed open the back of some guy's cranium. But now Sullivan's got a promo he's about to cut. I guess let's just listen to it here. Here you go.
You being allowed back in the ring on television has got to be a miscarriage of justice.
I have lawyers. You see, everybody get a chance in this country to do anything they want. Even the amateur Charlie Manson had a lawyer. You see, Smoky Mountain Wrestling and Commissioner Armstrong. You can't keep me and my followers from doing what I want to do. Brian Lee, I hurt you one time. It was an accident. I didn't mean to take that spike and keep stabbing you and keep stabbing you. And now the doctors say, don't face him. Don't come to see Mr. Sullivan, because your spleen, Brian Lee, isn't right. You can't live without a spleen. I've heard that spleens can rupture if you stomp on them. And talk about stomping people. Mongolian stomper. That one was for you. You can reach out and take the hand of young Brian Lee, and you can take him down to any Coliseum and face me and a Night Stalker, because it's like taking a child to the butcher shop. You see,
Jesus.
I can do anything I want. I have lawyers. I have great lawyers. And what a country we live in when you can do anything you want if you got the right lawyer. It's great.
Well, there's nothing to say after that, fans. We'll be back right after this.
Bob Caudle is not happy, and Sullivan just talked about butchering up a child. Go ahead.
The last three sentences sound like something our current president would say. You can do anything you want when you have lawyers. He said it. I can do anything I want. I'm president. He called what happened to primetime Brian Lee. He called what happened to Brian Lee an accident. I popped on that.
Yeah.
And it's a very subtle shift. So I'd heard that, like, when Sullivan came to Continental from Florida, they didn't want him doing the devil shtick as much because people couldn't handle it. So he's not doing the devil thing as much as he did in Florida. He's got followers. So it's more like a Charles Manson thing than a devil worshiper. And it's a slight distinction. It's a slight change, but it's still effective.
Same fucking thing, man.
Right, because he's crazy as shit, right?
Yeah, he's coming across that way at least, yes.
Right. I love it. He's unpredictable. He's wild ass. What is he going to do next? And he's out there to spike people and spike some more people.
You know, my comment here was, he's a whack job and a nutcase. Like, that's how he comes off.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the match prior to, where obviously he did some shit we talked about that we didn't like. But, man, he's just here. God damn, man. If you can't sound any more sinister and whack jobbish, so to say, in a nutcase than he did right there. Yeah, and that was my main comments on it. He's just crazy. Okay. So we go from that to now it's time for Down and Dirty with Dutch. And it is with Ron Wright. And I love it. Actually, Paul Orndorff and Dirty White Boy are out there too, but here it is. So let's listen to what they have to say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Down and Dirty with Dutch. I'm Dutch Mantell, and you're not. And today, my special guest on Down and Dirty is the legendary Ron Wright, the Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion, the Dirty White Boy, and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Now, what we're going to talk about today is an event coming up, Christmas Chaos, in which the super team of Paul Orndorff and the Dirty White Boy are going to be teaming up to go against the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin, and White Lightning, Tim Horner.
Let me tell you something. Christmas chaos, my foot. I've never been so sick of a holiday in my life. I'm supposed to be getting 16 and 18 hours of rest today. I want to tell all them little snotty-nosed kids over in my neighborhood to quit singing them Christmas carols and aggravating me to death and keeping me awake all hours of the day and night. I'm liable to have a heart attack and leave here if they don't slow down on it. Christmas chaos, humbug, I mean.
All right, you heard it, Mr. Ron Wright. Dirty White Boy, you have a big match coming up later today with White Lightning, Tim Horner for the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship. Your comments for the fans right now.
My comments for the fan right now, and White Lightning, Tim Horner, you've been after this for a long, long time. And at Christmas Chaos, you've got myself and this man right here going against the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin, and White Lightning, Tim Horner. Well, Tim Horner, you'll not make it to Christmas Chaos because today you've got a shot at this. And this means more to me than anything walking, talking in the world today. This right here, son, and I don't think that you're man enough to take it, and I know you won't be at Christmas Chaos.
Well, I know he's not man enough to take it, but Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, your comments right now, you've had a run-in with the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. Now you and the White Boy are going to team up as a tag team taking on Tim Horner and Garvin. What do you think about it?
You know, I'm sick and tired. Every time I turn around, Tim Horner is coming out here saying what Mr. Wonderful has done to him. Mr. Wonderful's done that. What he's done to me in the past, you know. Hey, listen. I am an international star.
Absolutely.
I go all over the world challenging all the champions.
Right.
And I don't care who they are. Mr. Wonderful is everything that he says he is. And you want to know something else? Myself and the Dirty White Boy, we are like this. So, Tim Horner, I don't think that you're man enough to take that belt from him. And as far as this Christmas chaos, Dirty White Boy and myself is going to show you what a true legend team is all about.
There you heard it right here. You heard it first right on Down and Dirty with us Christmas Chaos fans coming your way. And right now, stay tuned, fans. Remember the big heavyweight championship match of Dirty White Boy against Tim Horner. Later today, stay tuned. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
All right, Doc. What you got from that besides Ron Wright? And I think I can read your mind. Was a god right there doing his thing.
Yeah, I don't have anything on what Paul Orndorff or Dirty White Boy said because, to be honest, Ron Wright came out there and just sucked all the air out of the room with that awesome. He hates Christmas. I mean, you can't get more heel than that. That's more heel than busting open some jobber's head. I mean, you hate Christmas.
His exact words were
humbug.
Christmas chaos. Hold on. Let me get it. Christmas chaos, my foot. I'm supposed to be getting 16, 18 hours of sleep, and I'm just these damn kids in my neighborhood. They singing those damn Christmas carols. Bah humbug, man. Ron Wright was on it.
My foot. Is there anything more old man get off my lawn than my foot?
Right. He is. Let me tell you something. You know, we joke a lot, you and I offline, about Christmas and the shit that adults make Christmas out to be. Like, you know, you and I will talk about our wives and how they gotta have some elaborate present or want Christmas to be treated special for them. And you and I are like, man, Christmas is about kids, man. I just want my kids to have a good Christmas. That's important to me. You're an adult. You make your own Christmas. You want something special for Christmas? Go buy it yourself. You're a fucking grown adult, right? Are we on the same page with that?
Very much so.
Yeah, but the kids, you know, that's another thing. You know, I do want my kids to have a good Christmas. I want them to enjoy their Christmas. Well, Ron Wright just took a shit on Christmas and the kids singing Christmas carols in his neighborhood because he can't get his 16 to 18 hours of sleep that he's been required to get by his doctor. I thought that was great. Paul Orndorff and Dirty White Boy weren't bad, but Ron Wright was a god right there, and that's all I had. Anything else, Doc?
He just walked out there and stole the show.
Bruh, he freaking oh God, it was so good.
It's a shame. Here's the shame of all of it. Here's the shame of all of it.
What's that?
That shit was done in some podunk high school in northern Tennessee and not on a stage where everyone could see it and learn from it and appreciate it.
And here's the thing. I don't know if you're shitting so much on that one exact town or the fact that we never saw that on like
his career.
Yeah. It's just like on a WCW TV or even WWF TV or something like that. Yeah, I'm with you there. Hey, we're going to get to the next promo in a second. I did want to remind everyone, please take some time, pause the show right now, and go give us a 5-star review. We are recording this on June the 16th, 2017. We are up to 78 as of that date, and we can use some more 5-star reviews and comments, so please do that. And then I do want to say thanks to Joe Stassi and the Old School Pro Wrestling Lives page on Facebook and his page, the ICW Outlaws of Pro Wrestling, where we post our shows there, and Joe has been very supportive of the show, so thank you very, very much. And then lastly, before the next promo, which is a Tim Horner one, Doc, oh dear God, help me. Help me. Check out our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/bookingtheterritory. While you're there, click on the Shop Now button and go to our Pro Wrestling Tees store. Plenty of t-shirts on our store. Also in the show notes, I've got links to Pro Wrestling Tees. I've got links to the TeePublic store. Plenty of t-shirts, especially Smoky Mountain Wrestling related, that you will enjoy. And then our Twitter pages are at BTT_podcast, and I'm at Mike504 Saints. Give us a follow while you're at it. All right, Doc. We got to get to this.
Hold on. Now, I really want to hear about this Tim Horner promo, and I know that's really important. But first, I want to tell you about Blue Apron.
No, we're not going there.
That's what you just did.
Really? I was plugging our own stuff, not some corporate sellout shit.
I get as much money.
I
get as much money from our stuff as I do this corporate sellout shit. So
you know what? You don't do half the work that I do. You don't do any of the work that I do.
I just want to talk about Smoky
Mountain. Stick that up your pipe and fucking smoke it, bastard.
I want Smoky Mountain, and you're keeping the people from it.
Well, you're wasting people's time right now with that. Okay.
Well, that's my prerogative.
It's time for Tim Horner. It is time for Tim Horner, unfortunately. Let's hear what Timmy has to say in this promo.
Well, hold on.
What?
I didn't have any audio for this.
What are you talking about?
Is this not the episode where...
There's audio from it.
But do we want to...
It's out of sync. But I have it.
Okay, because I have no audio. Talk about Merry fucking Christmas to me. Now I don't have to wait.
Okay, here you go. Here's the promo. Because it is out of sync. It's not in sync with the video. Here it is.
Tim Horner. Tim, a big Christmas present for all the wrestling fans in the Smoky Mountain area, Christmas Chaos. That's going to be one of the biggest events ever in professional wrestling, and you're going to be a big part of that.
You know, Christmas Chaos, me and Ronnie Garvin against Paul Orndorff and the Dirty White Boy. You know, there's no love lost against the Dirty White Boy and myself, and there's certainly none with Ronnie Garvin and Paul Orndorff, but that's just going to be icing on the cake, because today I'm coming out here and I'm going to win that Smoky Mountain Heavyweight title. Dirty White Boy, you better hang on tight, because it's going to be a long ride today.
All right, fans, and don't forget it, that match is going to be coming up in just a few minutes. Now we're ready with more action. Let's go to the ring.
All right, Doc, what do you have from that? Because that's the first time you heard it, huh?
This is the first time I've heard it. So, great. More Tim Horner's what I needed.
Oh, well.
What do you have from it?
Well, there's more next week about this that I have to say, what they just announced, or what he's talking about with that match with Ronnie Garvin. So, against Dirty White Boy and Paul Orndorff. I think there's more. I think I have it next week on my notes. So I'm going to talk. Oh, it's not even next week. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. I'm looking at my notes right now. I have more to say about this whole thing in a second. So I'll bring it up then, related to what he just said. But if you ask me how that promo was, keep it moving. We go from that to Daniel Littlebear and Reno Riggins versus the Heavenly Bodies with Jim Cornette. Best part of this match is Robert Fuller on commentary.
You're damn
Fuller
right
talks about how they had to learn how to wrestle on their knees, but they did just that, and they beat the Fantastic, and they beat the Rock and Roll Express also when they learned how to wrestle a bunch of midgets.
Little fellers.
Anything from the commentary?
This is Daniel Littlebear's TV debut in Smoky Mountain. I don't have anything on him, but yeah, Fuller on commentary was it was a fairly short match, and he was the star here.
Fuller was the star. We're going to repeat it again. We are Robert Fuller. We just love us some Robert Fuller. The Heavenly Bodies get the win on Daniel Littlebear. I thought it was ironic. You know, Harper had no clue that this match was coming with Daniel Littlebear, but he called Reno Riggins Tatanka knockoff. Remember when he called him? We got Riggins and Daniel Littlebear, I guess, in Native American. I don't know if they're supposed to be a Native American team. I don't know, but yes. So it was fitting that those two were together based on what Harper said a couple weeks ago. Now, we go from that to a Heavenly Bodies promo here, and it is with Cornette. So let's play that and listen. This is after their match, and let's listen
now, hold
hear
on.
What they have to say.
If you're still watching from home, or if you're still watching this online, your audio will still be jacked up here. So this is kind of hard to follow. If you're watching.
The audio is not in sync with what Cornette is doing as he's speaking, which is weird. So, but here it is. I'm not sure why, but it's like that on YouTube. So here we go.
About with Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Body. You ought to be holding this under that guy's picture, and you know something? If you people would look at this for a second, this is what you ought to say. Because living in a stinking dirt hole like Clearfield, Tennessee, you shouldn't feel very good about yourself. We got no reservations about fighting Indians, man, and we got no reservations about the Rock and Roll Express. But now they've gone to Bob Armstrong at Christmas Chaos. You see, I'm in the mood. Yeah. A handicap match with me in the ring. Well, let me tell you something. I am not a wrestler, and I see what the Rock and Roll Express wants to do. They want to get their hands around my neck, and they want to squeeze until my eyeballs pop out, then get a kick out of me being killed, and I'm sure these defects would too. Well, I tell you something, Rock and Roll, I'm going into training. And Richard Simmons is a very good friend of mine, and every night, brother, I'm going to be sweating to those oldies, and I'm going to be be moving, and I'm going to be grooving, and I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. And I know that the heavenly bodies are going to keep the Rock and Roll Express away from me, and we will regain the tag team title. Please tell me that's the truth, Tom. Please tell me.
You know it's the truth. Okay. You got my word on it, and I know you got Stan's word on it. Well, let me just say something, too. I noticed that the stud stable was out here talking during our match, and I just want to let you know, you guys ought to stay in your own business, because I would hate for anything to jeopardize the friendship that we have right now, guys.
Yeah, that's something that I know means a lot to Stan, is friendship, right, Stan?
Let me just reiterate that those guys need to stay on their local, regional matches and leave the main event stuff to us. I'd hate for our valuable friendship to be hurt. I don't want to see anybody's feelings get hurt, Bob Caudle.
And let me tell you something, brother. Next time you see me, I'm going to be ripped to shreds. I'm going to have abs. I'm going to have pectorals. I'm going to have biceps, triceps, quadriceps. Everything on me is going to be hard.
Fans, don't go away. We're going to be back in a moment. Let's hear this about Christmas chaos.
Even Bob Caudle's laughing at corny.
He popped that. He popped.
Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead. I didn't mean to laugh. Go ahead.
No, everything on me is going to be. My note was everything on me is going to be hard. Pop Caudle. So that was funny. That was really, really, really good all the way through. He called it a dirt hole from the beginning. We have no reservations about fighting Indians. There's multiple layers here. There's the fighting against the Rock and Roll to get their titles back. There's this thinly veiled, we want to be friends with the stud stable, but we're the superstars and you're bingo hall wrestlers. There's just a lot going on, and it's all really good.
It was so good. He killed me. Well, the thing about everything being hard, obviously, maybe you chuckle because you heard me, but he then said, he said, I'm going to be getting fit with the oldies thanks to Richard Simmons. Now, if you are not Doc and I's age or maybe late 30s, you may have trouble remembering this, but there were probably tons of infomercials back then or even in the late 80s of Richard Simmons dancing with these old people, and it was like a workout program. This is back when workout programs were, I guess, on TV were like a big thing. I mean, it wasn't just Richard Simmons. There was others, but Richard Simmons was always kind of comical because he had this white guy out there with this big old afro, and he's sweating to the oldies with these fat broads. And Dutch makes a comment about that in a second, but the reference to that was very timely, wouldn't you say, back then, Doc, with the getting fit to the oldies with Richard Simmons?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say this to besmirch anyone, but Richard Simmons was also maybe the gayest guy you could find at that time.
Probably, yeah, on TV, yeah. His mother, people will be like, yeah, right. His mother lived. Now, hold on, because the street I grew up on was very long. It was like about a 2-mile length from where it started at the name of the street to the end of it. His mother was on the way opposite end of where the street started from where the street I grew up.
The rich part?
No. It wasn't really that rich, to be honest with you. But yes, he was more towards the end where the houses were a little richer, because as you got to the end where I was, it got a little bit darker in the houses.
It was more like Clearfield, Tennessee, I bet.
New Orleans is very segmented, man. You can go from the French Quarter. If you ever go to New Orleans in the French Quarter, dude, people don't realize this. When you're in the French Quarter, you're like 2 blocks from being in the fucking ghetto of ghettos.
Don't make a wrong turn.
Yeah. I mean, nobody realizes that. So that's kind of New Orleans.
I do. It's one of the more fun towns you can go to, even though it smells like piss.
Yeah.
But so you do not want to make a wrong turn. This ain't Disney World.
Yeah. So Richard Simmons was from New Orleans, actually. A lot of people may not know that, but anyway. So I just thought that line was very, very timely from Cornette about sweating to the oldies. And then, so Doc, you got anything else from that before we go to the main event with Tim Horner versus the Dirty White Boy?
Let's hit it.
So we go to the main event. Before we can get to the match, I want to play this bit of audio from Dutch because I thought this was fantastic. And this is just a snippet of Dutch doing what he does every week. But I thought this was great. So I'm going to play this. It's at the very beginning of the match before we can even get started from Dutch Mantell.
Manager, Mr. Ron Wright.
I got one thing to say right now. What did Cornette say out here on that little interview segment he had? He said he's going to be sweating to the oldies, getting in shape.
Yeah, he's going to get in shape.
I've looked at this crowd out here, all these fat women out here. It looks like a Richard Simmons reunion out here. These broads tip in about 300 pounds.
Hey,
they need to go on a diet.
He was talking about you didn't love.
I don't know if you heard it, but Bob Cottle chuckled again.
Well, and it goes back to our Harper and I's age-old question: is how did these poor people get so fat?
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's get to the match. Outside of the commentary and the finish, my comment throughout the meat of the match is that the Dirty White Boy makes Horner just look really good. Makes him look like $1 million. Now, before I go to the finish, I'm going to let you comment on anything you have. But don't comment on the finish yet, though.
No. I got it. Not only does Dirty White Boy make him look good, but Dirty White Boy just is really fluid when he cheats. He knows how to make that shit look good, too. He just looks... But I had another note here. Ron Wright looks like he's put on some weight this year.
I'd have to go back and look at, like, episode 1.
My note here was, well, when you're with the champ, you eat steak every night. So he's probably putting on some weight. But I thought he looked a little heavier than he did back at the beginning but just, little observations as we go through this.
I'd have to look, but I love Ron Wright. So
let me just say this. I'm really, 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 really ready for Dirty White Boy's next feud.
Me too. 100%. 100%. Well, let's go to the finish. So, here's the thing. Before I discuss the finish, this finish that happens is the one Cornette was telling me about, that they tried to make Horner at least look good without actually winning the belt. You may recall that from the Jim Cornette experience when we talked about this. And so Horner Atomic drops Dirty White Boy, but Dirty White Boy goes into the corner, and then as he hits the corner, he flies backwards into Horner. So Dirty White Boy takes a bump right by the ropes, and then Horner kind of bumps too, but then lays over Dirty White Boy. Ron Wright puts Dirty White Boy's foot on the bottom rope, but the referee, Mark Curtis, still counts to 3. There's a lot of confusion here in the building and with the ref and the announcers as to who won, but Horner leaves with the belt celebrating like a little bitch that just won the NWA strap in 1981 when the NWA meant everything. I was mean to Horner there, but it is what it is. Doc, you probably remember Cornette talking about this, and I guess what were your thoughts on the finish? I mean, you know why he did what he did here, Cornette, with the finish that he called, but what were your thoughts on this finish? Or the finish in general, I should ask.
Horner looks just as goofy as you would think he would when he thinks he won the strap.
I'm running out of bad things to say about Tim.
His reaction, jumping up and down, half-assed, lukewarm, milquetoast reaction to winning the strap is the exact reason why you can't put the strap on a guy like that.
He just doesn't have charisma.
No.
He is a very, very good wrestler. Very good.
That's great. I don't give a shit. Here's the thing. Earlier in the local promo, you didn't play it, and that's fine. You can play it at the end. But my note on that was, and you can think about this when you watch it at the end of the episode, is he just looks better standing next to Tracy Smothers. He got Tracy Smothers dust on him by just standing there and cutting a promo next to him. That's because Tracy has charisma.
Yeah. Tracy.
And look, I'm not out here picking on everybody else. It's because Horner thought he was the man, and he's not.
Right.
If you know your role, so to speak, as another famous wrestler once said, then okay, you are who you are. Yeah. I'm not out here kicking Brad Armstrong in the shin because he can't talk either. He was a good wrestler. But he wasn't out there thinking he should be the strap holder in every place he went either.
Well, you know what's funny about Brad Armstrong? Brad Armstrong won a pretty significant title during that time period in territory wrestling when he won the North American heavyweight title. He only held it once, and it was believable when they did it. I remember it. And it was the only, I don't want to say the only major title he won, but I remember Brad winning, and it was a shock, but the way he won it and how he celebrated after, it wasn't cheesy like you kind of just saw there.
Right.
Horner just look out of, and maybe it's because Horner's got the shit dust on him at this point. He's got the this dude. I mean, he could probably do something right. We'd still be critical of it at this point, and whatever. So, I said I had comments about what they're going to do with this angle. It's actually, I believe, on next week's episode. But earlier I mentioned that the tag team match that's coming up with him. I mentioned that I had some commentary, but it's actually on next week's episode now that I think about it. So, you got anything else from the match in the finish, Doc?
No.
All right.
We got a new champ. We got a new champ.
Oh, bullshit. Says who?
He has the belt. Possession is 9/10 of the law. It's taken us this long to get here, but finally, Tim Horner has scaled the mountaintop.
No, thank you. If Tim Horner was ever the legitimate champion of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we might have to shut this operation down. That said, this is a local promo, but I'm going to play it due to the significance of it with what Dirty White Boy has to say here.
Thunder and Smoky Mountain Wrestling will be returning to the Memorial Gym in Hazard soon. Stay tuned for more details here on Your Mountain Television. Smoky Mountain Wrestling returns to Barberville, Kentucky at the Knox Central High School on Saturday, January the 9th at 8 p.m. The card is still being signed for Barberville, but already scheduled to appear is White Lightning Tim Horner, Tracy Smothers, and this man, the Dirty White Boy, coming to Barberville.
Barberville, what you see standing before you is a champion without a title. Why, you ask? Because in the Smoky Mountain area, there is a thief that goes by the name of White Lightning Tim Horner. Horner, what is it? Is your whole family a bunch of thieves? When you see something that you're not capable of winning legally, you just up and steal it? Well, in Barberville, if I have my way about it, punk, I'll have you in the middle of that ring and we'll settle it once for all, because I'll beat your stinking brains out and I'll get my belt back no matter what it takes. I'll see you in Barberville if you got the guts to show up.
Also scheduled to appear in Barberville in January, Stan Lane and Tom Pritchard, the Heavenly Bodies, and their manager, Jim Cornette.
You know, I don't think that the Dirty White Boy's going to have a problem finding a thief in Barberville, because they're all over the place in eastern Kentucky. If not Barberville, then Hazard. You realize when we went to Thanksgiving Thunder in Hazard, they stole the hubcaps off our Lincoln Town car because they'd never seen one before. So let me tell you something, eastern Kentucky, that's what you are as thieves. You either have to have something handed to you, or elsewise you got to steal it. Well, I tell you what, when the Heavenly Bodies come to Barberville on January the 9th, we want to get the Rock and Roll Express back, and we want to get something that's been stolen from us, right, Tom?
Well, there's certain things I like to do in my life, and then there's things I'd rather have without. Coming to Barberville, Kentucky is one of those things that I don't really want to do, but it's a necessity to show everybody who the real Smoky Mountain Tag Champions are.
Accommodation.
Okay. Doc, go ahead. Any thoughts? Like I said, I played it because usually we leave the local promos at the end, but Dirty White Boy was actually cutting a promo responding to what just happened with the belt. So what do you got?
He seemed appropriately angry that he does not get to carry around his title belt as still being the champion.
Yep.
He's hot, and I don't blame him. I'm a little hot, too, after this.
I'm pissed off, man. Fuck Tim Horner. You thieving bastard.
Now, I thought Dr. Tom came in and started shooting all over the place saying he didn't want to go to Barberville.
He did. Cornette said they stole a hubcaps because they hadn't seen one before. I love that line. Okay. Well, let's go to the closing promo of the show now. It's Bullet Bob, and he's got Jeff Daniels out there. Let me remind you, Jeff Daniels had his wig split open with a chair shot to the back of the head by Kevin Sullivan earlier in the episode. So here we go.
Let's get a close-up.
Yeah, let's see the grossness of it.
Commissioner Bob Armstrong with Jeff Daniels.
I just want to say this, Kevin Sullivan, this young man right here is just trying to make a living like the rest of us. Look at the gash in his head. It's going to take 15 or 20 stitches to close it up, plus a concussion. Kevin Sullivan, we're going to find a way to get rid of you, boy, once and for all. And as far as Tim Horner is concerned, I'm very happy he got the 3 count, but the man's foot was on the rope, whether Wright put it there, who put it there. The foot was on the rope, rules are rules. I'm going to have to ask Tim to give that belt back.
You're asking him to give it back to the Dirty White Boy.
Sorry, I've got no choice. Rules are rules.
All right, fans, that's the ruling, and that's from Commissioner Bob Armstrong. As he says the foot was on the rope, he's asked Tim Horner to bring the belt back, to give it back to the Dirty White Boy, that the Dirty White Boy is still the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion. All right, that'll wrap it up for this week. See you next week, and until then, so long for now.
Praise God. Thank you, Bullet Bob, for putting your foot down and getting that goddamn strap back.
Order has been restored.
Thank you. God, I was worried for a minute. Any other thoughts, Doc?
Well, my note here was Jeff Daniels got fucked up, son.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, that's why I said that shit was reckless earlier. This dude got blasted in the back of the head with a freaking solid wooden
There's
chair.
a difference between a forehead getting gigged and the back of your skull getting split the fuck open.
100% agree. 100% agree. I think that just sold it all. Like that, seeing his head, seeing what happened, as bad as it is.
And you know what? Here's the thing. They didn't know that was going to happen, and so it wasn't on any script. But when it happened, what do? You use it.
Right, you're right, exactly. That was I had that note too. That I'm almost 100% sure that it wasn't planned.
How could you plan that?
So, but what they did was once it happened, Corny and I'm sure Bullet Bob, they sat down and like, hey, let's weave this into the episode.
You're a buddy.
What they did. Yeah, I agree, 100% agree. I like that. So, again, as I said earlier, Sullivan was wrong for the back of the head shot. That wasn't right. But God bless Bullet Bob Armstrong ruling that Horner has to give the title back. Fuck Horner. Let's keep it moving. All right, Doc, it's disability check time. I don't know how I felt about this episode overall.
Well, that's because you're not too bright.
Like, it was good. It's not that I hated it, but I'm at like a 7.75.
You and I have been arguing. How what?
7.75.
7.75.
Yeah, 7.75.
Okay. Well, you and I have been that really surprises me. You and I have been arguing this week about the 40s, the end of the 40s and the 50s, and about just their role, because there's a couple of schools of thought going on here. One is where the surprises, where the new people coming in, and we got Sullivan and we got Smothers, and they're still relatively new. And then when do you just on in a good rhythm of good wrestling shows? And I think that's where we are right now.
I think that's where we are too. Like I could give, I say 7.75, but I could probably from here through the next couple months give them all 8s. There's a couple that would get 9s, but that's how I feel.
Okay. Well, see, what you were telling me all week about this episode doesn't line up with the 7.75. And now I feel bad because I like this episode a lot. The gym probably brought it down for me. I was going to give it a 7.3.
That's not that far off from where I'm at.
Right, but it doesn't line up with all the talk we had this week about, like, you were like, man, I just feel like it's kind of flatlined. And I'm like, bruh, flatlined at a high level, though, you dumb prick.
Well, I agree, and that's why I'm like, I think you're kind of taking my words and not understanding them. So, okay.
I understand everything about you, son.
You gave it a 7.73. I gave it a 7.75.
No, I gave it a 7.3.
7.3. That's what I meant. Okay. Jesus Christ. I make a mistake and you just gotta shit on me, don't you?
A mistake?
That's what I said, a mistake. I mean, you act like I committed some kind of crime against nature. Jesus. Okay. We do have to give out our government cheese. I want to beg the patrons for some money right here. YouTube kind of fucked us a while back, and we're not making any revenue on YouTube these days, although I am putting up old stuff and videos here and there. But we basically make next to nothing on the YouTube videos, and that was a way to generate some revenue. So if you love what we do, the 8 free shows a month that we give you, please consider it. Please consider becoming a patron. Go to tinyurl.com/BTT patron. I definitely would appreciate it. I do want to say thanks to Jay Shiny, B. Evans, Drew Media, Big Rich Sports, Beat T Steel, Spyboy Sports Cap, Steven CG, Mike Havercroft, Sparks Third Coast, M. Wilson, Voodoo Moon, Frog Zeppelin, K-Stone, Lone Wolf, Codeman, Adam William, Dan N, Jason, Dan V, David, Wayne G, Twitdust, Matt Kovacs, Armando, Cedric, Boone, and Marty. Thanks for being patrons. You know, we do the 8 free shows a month, and the shows will be free, no matter how much Doc wants to put them behind the paywall, right, Doc? How much do you beg me to put these shows behind the paywall?
I wouldn't put all the shows behind the paywall. I told you I'd put every other one of them on there, so that if you want all...
Doc wants to put every other Smoky Mountain episode behind the paywall. Now, tell me that's not some heel shit to do. Tell me that's not some heel shit to do.
That's how you make money, son. That's how you monetize. You got a bunch of jabronis out here just talking and comic booking it up with the podcast. I'm trying to monetize this format.
Okay, so Mike, on the other hand...
This digital platform needs to be monetized, if you know what I mean.
Digital platform. Inside joke. Oh, Jesus Christ. We need look, please consider becoming a patron. 8 free shows. You can sign up for as little as you want or as much as you want. There are different tiers, but honestly, for the most part, they give similar things. But you know, some of them, the higher end tiers, you can actually get you can get a T-shirt after 6 months. Some of them you can get up to 2 T-shirts a year, depending on where you sign up at. But look, if you have some extra money to throw us, please consider becoming a patron. Again, it's tinyurl.com/BTTpatron. We'd appreciate it, and I want to shout out the Hall of Famers, which are William Shepard, Marty Howell, Tim Morecci, and David DeVries. Thank you so much for your patron memberships. We really appreciate it. You guys are Hall of Famers at that level, so thank you so much, because it really does help with supporting the show. We appreciate it. All right, Doc, let's do some government cheese. You know, I was critical of this guy during this episode, but I got to give it to him, and it's Kevin Sullivan. He gets the cheese. What about you?
I got to say that really, really surprises me because of the level of negativity you've had all week. And here's something else. I'm giving my government cheese to Kevin Sullivan.
Are you serious?
I really thought we were going to argue about this because I was like, I love the unpredictability, and because it's not my head getting split open, and I've never had my head split open like you have. To me, it's just collateral damage and part of the show, and I'm not living with CTE today as a result. So to me, it's just part of the wild-ass nature of he's a wild man. That promo was awesome. The match was chaotic. I love chaos and heat, and Kevin Sullivan is your guy. I just thought I'd have to argue with you about it at this point because I thought you were mad at him for taking liberties with the young man. So I'm a little surprised that you had it. But, yeah, that was mine all along.
I mean, like, here's the thing, man. I mean, I could have – there were only 2 other candidates in my eyes, and it was either Ron Wright with Christmas Chaos, my foot, brother.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be getting 16 hours of sleep a day. Stop singing them damn Christmas carols, you snot-nosed kids. You buy a humbug. Like, I mean, I could have gave it to him. And then Corny, maybe, because Corny had some good stuff there with the local promo and the one he shot with the Heavenly Bodies. But at the end of the day, Sullivan's just a fucking crazy man, and it was really hard to, like...
Give me the sound again. Give me the sound.
Yep! Yep! As he's butchering people. Yep. It's just really, it was really hard to not give it to him. And that was my fault.
The only thing that would have been better is that when he butchered that guy, when he split open Daniel's head, if he'd have taken the blood and like started finger painting with it on the ring apron or something.
I thought you were going to say taking the blood and wiped it on his face and then tasted it or some shit.
That's gross.
Yeah, it is gross, but I get the finger painting. Did you see though when Daniels got back in the ring, like right after the back of the headshot, and he was laying on his back? Did you see the puddle starting to form? Not puddle, but the dripping. Oh, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, he fucking split that poor dude's head open.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, that was crazy. All right. I don't have anything else, Doc. Again, 7.75 from me, 7.3 from you. Good episode. Don't get me wrong.
Great. This is a great episode. 48 minutes of wrestling. I was entertained throughout. And again, we are at a level where Smoky Mountain is consistently entertaining.
It is, and we're at the point too where I think we're almost at the 1 year mark, and things are moving along. And I think what it is I don't know if this came through when we were talking about it earlier today or during the week. To me, it's just steady. I don't know if anything ends up. There is some stuff that's great, but it's steady to where I got a feeling a lot of us, and this is Harper included, even though he's not here because he was up last night banging some broad, and just that was more important than us. God bless him.
You're gonna feel guilty talking about him that way if he pulled a Chris Cornell or something.
Oh Jesus! Don't say that. But we're at a point where I think you'll see a lot of like between 7s and 8.5s from like here through the next few months. There's some 9s. Don't get me wrong, because there's some shit that happens in the coming months that I'm gonna tell you right now. If you get bored with this, just hang with us, because there's things that pop off. Well, no, I say bored because like there's some times where we go through some ebb and flows, and it's an even flow where it's like not really like a new person comes in.
The next 2 months are going to be pretty consistently the same, but really entertaining wrestling, and then we get some cool stuff.
There's a lot of steadiness, but then there's a couple of times where we get some surprises.
Yeah, if you need surprises to pop you every week, the next 6 or 7 weeks are going to be there. If you need just a good, solid wrestling show that's pretty entertaining for 48 minutes, the next 6 or 7 weeks will continue to be good.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, all right. I wish you wouldn't have said that about Harper. Goddamn. I think there's only one local promo that I need to throw at the end of this. So, besides that one, I think that's about wraps it up. Consider becoming a patron. tinyurl.com/BTT patron. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store and go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/booking the territory. Click the shop now button. And what the hell is it? Our Twitter at BTT_podcast. Follow us at Mike504 Saints. Follow me. Follow Harper at CJH Houdat. Hopefully nothing's wrong and he's just out banging some broad last night. And again, check all the show notes. There are links down there and various ways to support the show via merchandise and t-shirts. Doc, that's all I got. I'm going to hit the tagline since Harper's not here to get us out of here. And this will wrap us up from episode 46 from December the 12th of 1992. You know what we always say when we got out of here? Book it, bitch.